What's up, guys? Guess what time it is? That's right. CarBiz Leaders Live featuring the principal's office, where I like to say the only principal's office that you actually want to come to. Today, we have an extremely special guest, Mark Weida from Street Smart Auto Brokers. He's been in the car business for a really long time. He has a very successful dealership in Colorado, and he is president of the Colorado Independent Auto Dealers Association. He's been my friend for many years, and he is full of knowledge. He's one of those people who has always supported me, and I am so thankful for this opportunity to interview him, and so you can share in some of his wisdom. Now, I am coming to you today from Florida, and I am not on my usual setup. So if I switch back and forth and I'm not looking directly for a couple minutes, please bear with me as we get this party started, and we'll get it going. Here we go. Here we go. Everybody, let's welcome Mark. Mark, oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited. And thank you again for your precious time. It means everything to me. So if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself so everybody can get to know you.
Yeah, absolutely, Rachel. Thank you. My name is Mark Weida. As Rachel said, I am the owner of Street Smart Auto Brokers, an independent dealership in Colorado Springs. We've been in business for about 12 years. Prior to that, I did 4 years of wholesale. And then prior to that, about 20 years of retail at big franchise stores. Starting out selling cars and then worked my way up to general manager when I was 29. And spent another probably 12, 13 years in big store retail. Got a little burned out with the corporate world and thought I just wanted to do something myself. Bounced out, started wholesaling because used cars to me is the fun part of the business. And so started buying and selling used cars from dealer to dealer and dealer to auction, auction to dealer. And then, as I said, 12 years ago, we opened our first retail location. We have 2 rooftops now for retail. We have our own service center. Proud to say that we have if you like Google reviews, we have the best Google review reputation of any dealership in Colorado Springs. Over 2,000 reviews, 4.8 out of 5 stars. So we try and be ethical. We try and be the good guys. Other than that, I am, as Rachel mentioned this as well, I'm involved in the industry. I'm the past president of the Colorado Independent Auto Dealers Association, but I'm currently still on the board of directors. I'm also currently on the foundation board as the chair for the NIADA Foundation Board. I'm the chair there, which is the charity arm for NIADA. I am also the vice president for the Used Car Dealers of Colorado Charity Fund, which is a very strong charity that we have here in Colorado. So I think you can tell that my passion, besides buying and selling cars, is also giving back to the community. So that's kind of what I'm involved in.
I think, I think that is so beautiful. What, and I'm kind of curious actually, what kind of organizations, charitable organizations, do they serve? I mean, because that's really beautiful. Everybody coming together to make their communities better. And I really see that as just a beautiful thing. But is there any particular cause that really, you really are proud to be behind?
Well, the common theme is that we started the charity 10 years ago, and
Hmm.
over 90% of the money we raise goes directly to people in need. We don't have any administrative expenses, so to speak. We don't have any um, high dollar CEOs that are taking big paychecks or anything. This is all volunteer work from used car dealers in Colorado. We either give independently to individuals that might need something. We had, for example, a woman who's didn't have a lot of money and somebody stole her wheelchair van, her only method of taking care of her child and bringing her child around to therapy and so forth. And we also give to some smaller organizations. We don't believe in supporting the big organizations that have millions and millions of dollars coming in. So some grassroots organizations that serve the community. We've done some recovery houses. We've helped with some homes for survivors of domestic abuse. We've
Hmm.
helped with just some grassroots stuff like that. I mean, we like helping the smaller people, the smaller organizations, people that don't necessarily have the ability to go to to the United Way or the Red Cross or something like
Yeah.
that to get assistance. And we also believe in helping our fellow dealers in need, which is really important. For example, we just I'm sure everybody's aware of the devastating fires in Maui. There was one dealer in Maui that lost everything. And even though we're out here in Colorado, dealers helping dealers, we were able to send him a check to Aloha Auto to try and help him get back on his feet till his insurance kicked in and so forth, because he and his family lost everything out there.
Yeah.
And then also with the NIADA Association, one of the reasons they asked me to participate in that is because the Colorado Association does such a good job that NIADA wanted to do something better on a national level.
Right.
So we're changing the culture of that as well. We do a lot of scholarships, but we're also working more towards education as well as dealers helping dealers.
I just love that. Everybody thinks that we're all doing so great, and, there's a lot of challenges in this business, and, bad things happen to good people too. You really touched my heart um, you know, when you guys helped the dealer in Maui, because you think about it, it is kind of far away, but the insurance money does not kick in right away. Um,
Right.
if you ever worked with an insurance company before, we all know that to be true. And people need to like start rebuilding their lives, and it's really tragic what was happening. And if you haven't noticed, I always like to say, like, Mother Nature is pissed right now. She's upset. Like she's out for, like, blood, because there's so many things happening right now around the world, even too. That's unbelievable, and all due to really bad weather, and earthquakes and such like that. So there's a lot of people suffering right now um,
Agreed.
at her wrath, and there's nothing you can do about it. So let's talk about some challenges in your business. I want to talk about what you're facing right now, and some of the things that are I like to get real in this show. I really want people to know, like, what are some, like, real things that you're going through right now.
It's a good question. In fact, I was talking with a friend the other day, and I said, "Boy, I just can't wait till it gets fun again." Because it's right now it's one of the last several years really. It's been as challenging as it's been in a long time. Everyone's aware of the impact, the post-COVID impact, where the market took a nosedive, and then prices skyrocketed, and they haven't really got back to where they were before, and I don't think they ever will. So used cars, as we knew it 3 or 4 years ago, are still over across the board anywhere from 15 to 25% higher than they were then. Some
Hmm.
segments of the market have dropped. There's still a lot of ups and downs, and it's very difficult. It used to be you could always predict the market and say, okay, we're going to have a slow decline here, and then a further decline, a faster decline in the fourth quarter, and then they swing back up right before summer. All that knowledge is not what it used to be. There's so many factors that come into play, supply and demand. Now we're looking at the UAW strike. We're talking about
Right.
that. But with that coming out, everyone says, is predicting that the late model used cars, the 21s, the 22s, and the 23 used cars
Mm-hmm.
Like post-COVID, they're going to skyrocket in price because people aren't going to be able to get new ones.
Right.
And then if that wasn't fun enough, then let's go ahead and triple the interest rates from where they were a year ago.
Oh,
So, and then let's make that fun too. So which affects us with our floor plan expense. It affects the demand from our customers because obviously people that are used to buying cars and financing at 2.9 or 3.9 are now looking at 6.9 to 8.9 for the same credit.
mm-hmm.
And we found that a lot of people are just deciding, and I have my own service center, but a lot of people are deciding, you know what, I'm just going to throw $2,000 at it and drive it for a couple of years until the market kind of
Right.
stabilizes.
Right. I
So
see that happening a lot.
yeah,
I
it's
was
very
just
challenging right now.
I was just talking to a customer the other day. They're in New York, and like the guy bought a work truck, and he was like, the payment was like $1,400, you know, and because of the interest rate, and it could really start to cripple not just us, right? Because that's not how we want to present. We want to give value to our customers, but you know people need this stuff. And I think, okay, what are we fighting here? Are we fighting inflation? Are we going to work the economy? I feel like they need to come up with a balance there. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I do. The other thing that comes into play is I had a customer that bought a truck from me 2 years ago, and had very, very good credit. I think they were 2.9% or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone relieved them of this truck by rear-ending them at a stoplight and totaled the truck. To buy the same truck through no fault of their own, these people are having to spend $100 a month more because of the increase in price of the truck and the increase in the interest rate. Nothing's changed for them. I mean, the vehicle got totaled, got paid off. Gap insurance covered the balance of any negative equity that they had. But the reality is you just can't buy the same vehicle for the same payment anymore as you could as recently as a year ago.
Right. So we're talking about challenges, but how do you go about like making sure that this doesn't affect your business? Because I think that's what a lot of people want to know. Like, what are you doing to kind of, skate these sort of looming issues that are either affecting you right now or are going to be affecting you soon? How do you go about solving that problem?
Well, in a way, it's forced me to become more disciplined. I mean, I'm the owner of the company, but I also buy 90% of the vehicles myself.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have other buyers that would travel around and buy cars, but I try and focus since I believe every dealership has its own DNA, if you will, that what
Mm-hmm.
works at one dealership might not work at another one. For example, I don't do really well with 2022s, late models being an independent. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's not kind of my niche. I mean, so what I've been forced to do is to really examine what sells best at my store and what can I do to narrow it down and make sure that what I'm putting on my lot is going to be what my customers are coming to look for. There's lots that specialize in 10 grand and under. Well, that's not us. There's lots that specialize in 50 grand and over. Well, that's not us. I mean, we're kind of in that $15,000 to $40,000 range is what most of our inventory is. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, then we have the challenge of getting through the service department, trying to get them serviced correctly, so where they're safe and they don't have, as much as possible, we don't have any issues in the near future when we sell it to a customer. And to do all that and then still be very competitive with the market, it's tough right now. It's not as easy. So when I go to auction now, I'll spend anywhere from 6 to 10 hours researching the auction list before I even set foot on the pavement out there and try and buy them. And I may, like tomorrow, there's an auction here and that I'll be looking at. There's somewhere around 600 vehicles on the list. I've already narrowed it down to about 100 that I would even consider. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, by looking at Carfax, looking at service histories and so forth, seeing if it's going to work on my lot. And then I'm going to get there at 7 o'clock in the morning and the auction starts at 9:30. And by the time I get there, I might be down to 40 maybes, and I'll be lucky if I get 10 to 15 out of those.
Right. I think that's important too, is sort of, and I've had to do that as well, as this business gets more complicated and because it shrunk, because as it gets harder to buy cars and harder to sell them, not as many people are shipping. So for me, like I've had to come back into the business and I've had to start doing things that I'm very good at, right? That I may not necessarily, isn't like I don't have a choice. Like, okay, so would I rather have my 10 hours at home with my family? Okay, well, we're gonna have to split that in half because I gotta get some extra work done. Especially right now because everything is so mission critical. Um, and sometimes it's still my zone of genius, so let's go in and do that. I think there's some things that I could still delegate off my plate that are not my zone of genius, like data entry. I saw a meme the other day about passwords. So you did bring up a lot of really important points about the discipline. What other ways do you work on discipline, and how did you cultivate that skill? How did you put it more into your life? I mean, it's not something that happens overnight. I know, trust me, I'm working on it. So, but I want to know how you kind of cultivated that a little bit more, sharpen that saw of
Well, I
discipline.
think, yeah, I mean, that carries through to my the retail operation as well. I talked about the discipline that I really had to get better at with buying the cars, and then
Hmm.
the reconditioning, time to line, getting the cars through the shop and as quickly as possible. The
Hmm.
best in practice. I mean, people get cars on the lot in 3 to 5 days. I mean, I'm happy if I can get them, if I can average anywhere from 8 to 10, which is an improvement. It used to be 3 weeks, but by having
Right.
my own service center and I opened my own detail shop, um, and just trying to get processes in place to where we can move the cars as quickly as possible. Because again, going back to interest rates, it just kills our profitability when we're spending a ton of money on floor plan interest. Um,
Right.
and the other thing with discipline is with my retail people. I mean, it's just making sure that they are handling every single lead, and
Hmm.
treating it properly. Because I believe there's a funneling process. When I got in the car business, people would go to 7 or 8 car dealerships before they made the decision.
Right.
Now they go to somewhere, depending on where you look, 1.5 to 1.7 on average. So when they're researching this, we want to make sure that our website's dialed in. We have all the information that's available. We're a Carfax Advantage dealer. Let them see the Carfax, let them see the service ticket, find out what we've done to the vehicle. And as they're
Hmm.
narrowing this process down, they may start out with, okay, there's 8 in Colorado Springs that I'm interested in, and then they narrow it down to 4. And then maybe they're sending leads out or inquiries to those 4 dealerships. So I got to be better. We have to be better here on the ground of getting people to not exclude us, because
Right.
almost without fail, over 60% of the customers, when they come in to look at that vehicle, will buy that vehicle if they can. I mean,
Right.
insurance, well, includes the ones that can't. I mean, finance wise.
Right.
So we have to be better at handling the incoming leads, the incoming phone calls. People are so aloof anymore. They don't want to engage. They don't want to let personalities get involved. I mean, it used to be sales was all about personality. By the time they show up, the customers have pretty much decided that they're ready to buy the car. And this is
Right.
all about the personality that you can reflect on your website. My sales staff, when they're emailing people or texting people back, trying to differentiate themselves and let them know that yeah, we're car people, but we're also real people. I mean,
Right.
and we're very transparent. We share all the information that we have.
Hmm.
People inherently distrust us. They always the joke is always like, lawyers, thieves, and car salesmen. We're always
I
kind of,
know. In
yeah,
every single movie too, it's
yeah,
terrible.
right. I mean, the jokes
I
are
mean,
these
the best
are
people in
good.
my life in the car business. Like we really do have this terrible reputation. It's
It
like from
is.
the 70s. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's get rid of it.
And most used car dealers, especially the ones that I hang out with, the majority of them are very reputable. They have families. They're active in their communities. They're good people, and they don't want to just sell a bad car. You still
Hmm.
got a handful of those ones out there that'll put a band-aid on a problem or wash a title out of state. But that's almost unheard of anymore. And
Right.
so we have to just differentiate ourselves, which is why I bring up, our online reputation and so forth, and involvement in
Hmm.
the community, because that's important. Because when people see us and they know who they are, and then they go look, they go, wow, Street Smart Auto Brokers, these people did this for this charity, they did this charity, they did this charity, and look at this, their reputation is good, they have great prices. And so
Right.
the days of just being able to just hope that somebody will show up and make $4, 5, $6,000 gross profit. They just stumble in. That's almost unheard of anymore. I mean, it's all
Right.
about volume, treating everyone the same. And I tell people that all the time. Not that we're a true one price store, but I tell people all the time, before we even sit down to talk, we tell them that we don't have thousands of dollars to negotiate. And I hope you can appreciate that because, ma'am, if you're a good negotiator, but your husband's not, is it fair that you get a better price than him? Well, we don't think so. We don't think you should
Right.
have to, just grind away to try and get a good deal. And that's what we try and do. We try and make it more stress-free buying experience.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, everybody wants to get a deal, but at the end of the day, we all got to eat, you know what I mean? And we can't, we're not doing, I don't think anybody wants you to work for free, but sometimes they don't see that in the mix of it some days, or it's just blind to them. I'm very impressed by your answer of transparency, and I think that could really help a lot of dealers, just making sure that you have the ratings, that it's stress-free, that everything is laid out for you and beautiful, and that your salespeople understand and are well trained for when somebody walks in the door, that these people have already made a decision in their mind saying we're going to buy or we're not going to buy. I think those are all really beautiful things that other dealerships can incorporate into their dealership. So I really appreciate you for that. That's amazing. So tell us some of your success stories. It's time for success stories. What's been great?
Well, let's see. I've been very fortunate. Like I said, we've been in business I did wholesale for 4 years, and then opened retail 12 years ago, April Fool's Day of 2011. Thought it made sense. Let's go coincide with April Fool's Day.
That's funny. That's really fun. Joke's on you.
I know, right? But anyway, we've been really blessed. I mean, I've always had we have a little bit of turnover. We don't have the turnover employee-wise that most dealerships do. Not that I was used to when I was in the franchise world.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because people that work here they enjoy how we do business, and they enjoy the way our customers react to us, because overall, like I said, with the reputation, with the way we treat people, with the ethics, I get customers all the time. I get a ton of referrals, but I tell people all the time, it's like, yeah, if you want to come and meet with me, I'm happy to. But the nice thing about it is my people are all going to treat you the same way. You're going to get the same answers, the same ethics as if I was involved. Because of that, we built up over time. We had some really good years. I mean, my dealership's paid for. My service department is growing. Even as challenging as last few years were, and like I said, they weren't much fun. I mean, it's like I contemplated retiring at one point, and I thought, I still remember the car business being fun, and we're just going to keep plugging away at it until it gets fun again. And I think we're really on the edge of that. If you talk to some of the economists that really study the car business, it looks like that we're going to be 2024 is probably going to be the year where it's going to start to come back. Will interest rates ever hit in the 2% again? I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, certainly not anytime soon. But they're also not going to have, not going to have 800 credit scores that are happy to get a 6.49 now, which is kind of what we're looking at. So there's a lot of challenges. Like I said, we talked earlier about the UAW strike. We still talked about supply issues and rising prices and everything. I mean, it's still up and down, but I think we're going to be looking at some stability here by 2024, mid to late 2024. And then I'll be back to just doing business the way that we've always done. And then we'll just kind of do this for a few more years, then ride off into the sunset and go sit on a beach somewhere.
Let's go. I love running off into the sunset. And don't you dare retire yet. I'm not ready for that yet.
No, I still got a lot of fire left in me. Plus, I have daughters, and daughters are expensive. So.
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Please, I still have my dad up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to, but once in a while. But he, today I'm staying with them for a couple of days, and if anybody knows me, I drink yellow Red Bull, so you can make the nice little 4-pack of yellow Red Bull. This stuff isn't cheap.
Right.
Okay. So that was really nice of him. So let's go. We're gonna do some fun little rapid fire questions now. It's gonna be short and sweet. All right, don't think too hard about it. All
Okay.
right. I've come up with some very fun questions specifically because I know you.
I'm very scared right now, but okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. So if you were to expand any area of your dealership, money is no issue. What area would it be?
Service operations.
Okay.
Yes, I have 6 lifts
If-
right now. I would love to, the property that I have that I'm trying to expand it, and I would love to turn it into 12 lifts, and I'll have to expand the buildings to do that.
I like that one. Okay. Can you? No, that's a question for me, and the answer is no. I was going to say, can you tell the difference between a and then I forgot it because I don't even know. Um, so when you go to the gym, what is your favorite exercise to do?
Oh wow. At my age, I just do a little bit of everything. I'm not trying to bulk up anymore.
Mhm,
I'm more interested in being lean and flexible. So
mhm.
I do a lot of cable work, with the cable
Oh,
machine, and
yeah.
I can do almost everything with that because that gives me more flexibility, more mobility than when I was younger. It's like, well, dude, how much can you bench? It's like I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to be flexible and pain free, and I find that cables are probably the best way to do that because you get
Well,
resistance of coming in.
because and not only that, but you actually use that's the motion that you probably use throughout your day too.
Yeah.
Um, okay. If you could go on a road trip, where would you go?
Geez, how long of a road trip? Like driving?
Yeah.
I would, yeah. See, I grew up as a military brat, and my dad, we never had much money, and that was kind of what we did in the summertime. We would get in the wagon. It was literally like National Lampoon's Vacation. We had the station wagon with the wood. I swear, we had the station wagon with wood paneling, and we would get in this, and it's like wherever we could go. My dad took us. Mom and dad took us to the Grand Canyon, and we've been here. So I probably visited over 40, 42 of the states already. But I would love to do that. I mean, I love seeing our country, everything. I mean, I would just, if time and money were no object, I would take, a road trip or a series of road trips and just go across the continental United States. I mean, I've been to Hawaii. I've not been to Alaska yet. But
Mhm.
I'd love to just take a road trip and maybe buy one of those really nice Sprinter Mercedes type
Sprinter Mercedes
RV.
vans.
No, no, I'm saying the RVs that are like the mini RVs
Oh
with
yeah, I've seen those.
the
I've
garage.
seen those.
Yeah, and just take off
Nice.
and just go see our country. I mean, it's like being a military brat. I've lived everywhere. I've lived in the South. I've lived in the North. I mean, I'm in
Mhm.
the West now. I've lived in California, and I appreciate all the, I guess, the nuances and how the people and the cultures and everything are different across our country. I would love to do that.
I just love that. And then well, you already answered my question, which is what kind of car would it be in? So Mercedes Sprinter van RV. So Mercedes RV,
Mhm.
delightful. Okay. Final advice for other dealerships out there that could be, uncertain, uh, trying to get through the same things that you are. What would you say to them?
Always look at the big picture. Never look at the profitability of one transaction to be the be all end all. I mean, I always try and say, how is this going to affect who I am as a person, who I am as a dealer, who I am in my community, and do I need to, even when I'm wrong, sometimes go ahead and make the decision to either assist a customer or let the customer out of a deal or make a decision to take them out of this car and put them in a better car. Even when I'm right, it doesn't matter. I want to just make sure that I'm looking at the overall picture of things because at the end, I have to answer to my community. I have to answer to my God, and I have to do things that are right. And so I always tell people, I have a lot of young dealers sometimes that are, hey boss, can you help me with this? Give me some advice. Give me some advice. And that's the number one thing that I tell them. I said, remember that it's not all about this one transaction. It's not about this one customer. It's all about building your business, and you have to define who you are as a person, who you are as a dealer, and how you're going to be involved in your community. And you got to look yourself in the mirror at night. I mean, I knew when I became a dealer, I didn't want to be that guy that would see someone on the street and have to go like this and hope they don't recognize me. And then get involved. I mean, and like I said, I tell everybody, even at a small level, I mean, it's not like I'm not Bill Gates. I mean, I don't give away billions of dollars or millions of dollars. I mean, I just get involved in the grassroots, just getting involved with people. And you'd be surprised. I mean, a little bit here or there, giving back to the community. We did a thing at the park over the Labor Day weekend, and we set up a tent and we gave out free sunglasses, and we did this. We were shaking hands and kissing babies, and it was just like, and it's just all about getting your name out there and letting people know that you're real people and you treat people like people. And that's what people want to know. I mean, they don't want to deal with the stereotypical car guy. So when they feel like we're just regular people, they feel much more comfortable.
I absolutely love that. And I mean, I was just thinking about that the other day. Like, some people think that, they want to get behind a charity or a cause or get involved, and it doesn't have to be with money. You can give your time, you can give your energy, you can be a part of something that, I recently volunteered, and the gain that I got back from it was 10 times more than the actual money. So sometimes, yes, money helps, guys, and please continue to give and support people. But, sometimes people need energy and bodies and to do the actual work and not just to put money on it. So
well said.
If you got some time to spare, I would recommend, giving it to a cause. So Mark, thank you so much. You've been absolutely wonderful. I will let you get back to your busy day. Everybody, if you are out there, thank you so much for taking the time to listen. My good friend, and he's just got so much wisdom, and I'm so proud of you. I think you're an amazing guy, and I know we're going to get through these times and come out on the other side better. So I learned some things about you I didn't know. So thank you so much. If you like our show, please like, subscribe, support us, share it amongst your friends, please. We could use that support. And next week, we're going to have Frank Lopes on. I don't know if you're familiar with him, Mark. He's a great guy. He helps a lot of dealerships. So I'm really excited for that. And in the meantime, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on CarBiz Leaders Live featuring the Principal's Office.
Thanks, Rachel. Thank you.